exciting array of events in his life. His speech tonight is called The Great Race. Come on up, Nigel. Tell us about the great race.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow members, and guests. Once upon a time, there was this great race. It was a cycling race, in fact, and it went 100 miles long and up the tallest mountain this side of the Mississippi. It's the biggest in the area, and only the top, best athletes ever competed in it. A lot of athletes attempt it, but not all of them make it. There was these two athletes. They knew each other. They were semi-friends. One named Rob, and he was a young guy and in great shape, very fast, won a lot of races. And you could tell, he just glowed. This other cyclist, his name was Tom, and he was an older guy, still in really good shape for his age, had a lot of experience, but didn't really compete so much anymore. Well, they got together and they made a bet. Let's see who can win this race, old man. Oh, really? So Tom said, "You're on. I'll take that challenge." So they started the race. They finally came up and approached. And it's a big crowd, and they're both at the front of the line. The clock sounds, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, bang, and they're off. Well, at least Tom was off. He was faster, and he knew it. And he just took off down the road and just left poor Rob back at the starting line. In fact, it was so fast that I switched their names. Rob took off, and Tom was still back at the starting line. It always scares me when we get this fast. Well, during this race, it's a long race, they have rest stops that you stop and you get more fuel. You get more liquid and more fuel. Well, geez, Rob was there way early, you know. He got more liquid and ate, went to the bathroom, and finally Tom shows up. He's like, "Oh, finally, huh? Okay." He saw him go by, in fact, because Tom didn't even stop. He just kept going, kept going. So Rob's like, "Well, I'll show you." Just flies by him again and says, "Yeah, who's going to win this race?" Took off, gets up to the next rest stop, gets his bottles filled, takes a few snacks, just kind of rests a little bit, trying to get his energy back. Finally, here comes little Tom again, just trucking along nice and steady and keeping a good pace. He gets on his bike and just takes back off up the hill. Well, you know, for most of us, it's a little demoralizing, but not for Tom. He had a plan, he was experienced, he knew what he was going to do. Well, this went on a few times more. And, you know, it's this cat and mouse kind of game. Well, finally, Rob gets up to the very last rest stop. He fills up his bottles, he takes a snack, he looks back, And Tom is just like nowhere to be seen. He can't even see him down the hill on the last turn yet. It's like, well, I'm just going to take a little nap. Take it easy for a little bit, rest up some. So when I finish this race up the hill, I'm going to look like I just stepped out for the first mile and look fine. Well, Rob was nice and comfortable, and he kind of dozed off a little bit. Tom's just nice and steady all along, nice and steady. Suddenly, I don't know if it was the birds chirping or one of the workers said something, but Rob woke up, just startled. You know, kind of like you forget to set the alarm and then you look at the clock and you notice you're late for work, that kind of startled. Well, Rob just jumped on his bike, he was all geared up, and just flew up the hill. Set his personal best time. And he's like, I got this race. I've got this. And nobody as fast as me, especially this old guy. He passes through the finish line, feeling good. And he's like, yes, victory! Only to see Rob sitting there, clapping. Well, it might sound like a little bit of a nursery tale from the past, but it just goes to show the moral of the story is you don't always have to be the best athlete or the fastest athlete, but if you're well experienced and you take your time and you're very steady, you can always win the race.